I think people get tattooed because, there's not a lot of real stuff left in the world, and it's all like a 24-hour news cycle. Nothing lasts. With tattooing, it's blood, it's pain, it's permanence. When you get that needle in your skin for the first time, you have to be there. You can't just call it in. You have to sit there and take the pain, and then sit there and heal it. And then you got to live with the consequences of your action.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the East West Podcast with your host, Horisumi. Missed last week. I'm back this week. I was supposed to do an interview this morning with a very famous and well-known tattoo artist, a tattoo personality, if you will. He called me a few hours before and said he was too sick and didn't feel well. So we're not going to do that today. We're going to postpone that for another day. So today, it's just me. I got some shit to talk about, so we'll get through it. It's Friday, January 19th, 2024. Already a month into the new year. It's gone fast. And got some funny tattoo stuff to go over. So some of you who are tattoo artists, and I know a lot of tattoo artists watch me, a lot of younger guys. So some of you might know about this, some might not. I doubt too many other people know about this, but some years ago, I want to say maybe 2017, there was this big marketing campaign put on Instagram for this tattoo product. Out of the blue. No one knew about it except for the people involved. There was no real lead up to it. And then just one day, like 40 or so, 30, 40 real prominent tattoo artists all changed their Instagram profile photos to this green swirl. Like it was like boom, all at once, right? All at the same time. And then it turned out it was for this product for tattooing where you would send this company your ashes of a loved one or a deceased pet or some hair, and they would take that and they'd chemically insert it, the DNA of it, into these little plastic micro particles. Then you could get that sent back to you, take it to your tattoo artist, and then you tattoo that into your skin, right? As a way of preserving the DNA or the ashes of your loved one. And there was a lot of backlash about this product because, it wasn't run by tattoo artists. It was an outside company that had used tattoo artists to market their product. And that's why the backlash was, right? Tattooing has always been very guarded against interlopers and grifters and people trying to make money off the industry that aren't tattooers. The product itself, it is what it is. Throughout my career, people have always brought in ashes to put in the tattoo ink. Your dog dies, you love your dog, you put a little bit of ashes on the black when you're getting a memorial tattoo. And, the ritualism and the symbolism is that, there's a little bit of your dog with you. And that's cool. Whether some actual DNA gets into the tattoo or not, who knows, right? But it's the idea of it. Comforts people, it's a talking point, it's something nice, right? And people have always done this, right? With humans, with dogs, with whatever, right? And so this product, is the same idea with a lot of extra steps and a lot of extra money, right? And again, you're inserting plastic into you, so, some people don't like the idea of having plastic tattooed into them. Who knows, right? Who knows what the efficacy and the safety of it, if any of the particles actually stayed in the skin. But, so this was a big thing, and there was a lot of backlash and a lot of back and forth on the internet about it, a lot of shit talk. And, a lot of people kind of just walked away from it, changed their profile photos, pretending they weren't involved. And the company's still around, apparently. It's called Effervescence, Everence, like reverence without the R, Everence. And they've changed their logo, and it looks like they're still doing it, but it didn't have the big impact that they were going for. The tattoo world can be a little bit finicky sometimes, a little bit fickle. And so I was just doing a bit of research on that this morning, and, it's a funny story, right? But then, because yesterday, a new tattoo product launched in a similar kind of way, without not so much, this was back in 2017, when people weren't doing so many videos and reels, and Instagram was more photo-based. So this marketing drop yesterday is more video. And a lot of people sharing the same video. And it's the same thing. They got the top 40 tattooers or whatever. And they dropped this product, right? And this product is called Magic Ink. Right? Magic. Because it's microcrystalline dye encapsulated in microplastic beads. And it's light sensitive. So you tattoo this ink, right, into your skin, and you get a little flashlight, a little UV flashlight, and you can turn the ink off, and then you go again, it turns the ink on. Right? So you can make your tattoo, or whatever part of the tattoo, because this only comes in one ink for the moment, one color, magenta. And from looking at the photo, and look, I've tattooed with UV ink before, which is the same idea. It's a UV reactive dye in microplastic beads, very small. Doesn't tattoo very well, right? It looks really chunky and coarse. You can't really get a smooth line. It doesn't pack very well. And the UV stuff was fun, right? I did a little bit of UV stuff when I was younger because you could do invisible tattoos, right? You use the white, which is nearly invisible when it's tattooed. You go into a strip club, and you can see, you can add glowing eyes to your dragon or glowing claws or, this kind of thing. It's a gimmicky kind of fun stuff, right? And I messed around with it for a minute. And I like the idea of that, right? This magic ink stuff is a lot more fucking steps. Again, it's the same idea though. The tattoos look like shit. Like they're patchy, they don't pack. The color looks really washed out. But you get this little flashlight when you get tattooed, and you can turn the ink off and turn it back on, and it's kind of cool for a minute. I mean, I don't know how long that novelty is going to last if you're going to bring your flashlight with you everywhere. For people that just want to get an invisible tattoo or a on-off tattoo, it's not a great option because the tattoo itself, like I get it, if you're getting like a fucking dragon, right, and it's breathing flames and you can turn the flames off and on, it's a toy, right? You're like, oh look, flame on, flame off, it's a toy, right? It's a gimmick. But the flames look like shit, right? And so if you're just going to be like someone was, I just want to get one of these tattoos that I can turn off for work and then turn back on when I go out at the club, it's not a great option for that because they don't look great, right? They look like they're drawn on with a crayon, right? But it's funny. And the guy who brought this to market in partnership with this tech company, he's a pretty big name dude. He's one of these guys that, and I don't know him, so I'm not going to talk shit about him. But he's one of these New York City tattoo shops that charges a fucking arm and like $1,000 an hour for micro fine line stuff. So that is what it is, and you can judge that on your own. You probably know how I feel about that. And I'm not exaggerating on that price at all. So yeah, they've used all these people to bring it to market, and it's kind of, it's just another way for people to try and make tattooing something that it's not, right? Let's call it the gamification of tattooing, the making everything gimmicky and silly, and it's like the other thing I saw the other day. I'll get back to this one. Is the latest advance in computerized robotic tattooing, right? So instead of using a 3D printer now, which is what they were doing last time, where you put your arm in a thing and it fucking, now they're using a similar thing, but it's using like a dot matrix printer that's using a fine needle to make pixelated tattoos on you. And again, you put your arm in a thing and it does this. You upload the design to the computer, and how do I feel about that? Right? I'm not worried that robots are going to take my fucking job, or AI is going to take my fucking job, because there's the AI shit as well, right? People bring in AI generated art, and there's a lot of that going on as well. And I think people just miss the fucking point of what tattooing is. I say is because, like there is no, there's not all encompassing one idea of what tattooing is, but there kind of is a thing called history and tradition and, an idea of where tattooing came from and what it means and why it got popular. And when I say popular, I mean why people were attracted to it, right? People were attracted to it because it was, it was something real and permanent, and it was magical and mystical, and, all that's gone, right? For the most part of tattooing, right? And I talk about this a lot, the mystery and the magic is what made tattooing special. When you didn't see tattoos everywhere, this is, again, why I love the Japanese sort of ethos where you hide your tattoos and you only show them at special occasions and they keep their power that way, right? This gamification of it, with the fucking getting robots to do it or getting the AI to draw the picture. I mean, fuck, man, go find an artist that can draw. There's lots of fantastic artists doing tattoos now that can draw really well. It's insulting to have someone bring you a fucking computer generated image when you'd rather just draw it yourself, right? I mean, obviously, that doesn't translate so well to large scale traditional Japanese stuff because the robots can't draw that stuff, can't prepare that stuff. And obviously they'll never be able to tattoo that stuff. But even for the small stuff, I mean, the relationship between client and artist is what's special, right? Like I've said before, it's like almost like a, like that shamanic experience, right? Where you go and you get a tattoo and you build a little 10-minute relationship with somebody, you have a chat. They give you your good energy for the tattoo. Everyone fucking wins, right? And so this direction that some people are trying to drag tattooing in with fucking computers and fucking light switches and fuck me, man, like missing the fucking point, right? There's a part of me that's like, my ethos and my outview on the world is I'm a free man, I'm sovereign, do what the fuck I want. No one's gonna tell me what to do. But when it comes to tattooing, I'm almost like, I think there should be like a Sharia law in regards to the code of practice and the code of just the code of what tattooing is, right? How it's done and the rules that we follow and, the ethos of good tattooing. There has to be, because the wheels will fall off as they are already. I mean, there's so many fucking shops in the world right now, in the Western world, that are dead in the water. I mean, from people I'm talking to all over the world, London, New York, Florida, California, tattooing's, getting really fucking slow because there's too many tattooers. It's too saturated in terms of, it's almost getting not cool anymore because it's too much, right? It's too much of a good thing. It's lost its mystery and its power a little bit, right? And this is why, with Tabori stuff, I'm keeping that to myself and all the other guys I know that do Tabori. I mean, like, I don't sell. I've thought about selling stuff like tools or jigs, but I won't. Won't. And I'll never make videos on how to or anything like that. I mean, I've got my apprentices that are locked in for 3, 5, 10-year apprenticeships because you want to pass on the knowledge, right? You don't want it to die with you, right? But there's that fine line between teaching the next generation and completely flooding the fucking market. You got 1-year tattooers opening their own shops with 2 apprentices. I'm like, holy fuck, dude. I mean, this shit was going on 20 years ago, 30 years ago when I was coming up. And those people were heavily fucking ostracized and pushed away. I worked for other people for 20 years. 20 years, I paid a percentage to other shops to work. And then at the 20-year mark, I felt I had earned my right to open a shop and do my own thing. I'm not saying everyone has to do that, but that's my ethos, right? And so, I'm on the completely opposite side of the spectrum with this noveltization and gamification of tattooing, where, it's like, I think tattooing for my side of things should be part of like, a Teutonic order or something like this, right? Where you make a vow of loyalty to tattooing and you abide by the rules and the traditions and this kind of thing, right? This is what I believe in, right? And I stand by that. And that will make tattooing better, right? And that will keep tattooing alive and keep the spirit of tattooing good, and staying humble. And that's, I'm not going to lie, I struggle with that too. And, there is a time, probably when I opened the shop, and before I opened the shop, where I was very busy. It was one of the bigger games in town here, and I had a bit of an ego. I had to work really hard to quell that and to stay humble and keep my humility and remind myself all the time. Because ego destroys creativity and ego destroys your career. And so that's a big part of it as well. And that's part of the gamification of tattooing, is people thinking they're going to fucking, reinvent the wheel and change the nature of tattooing, right? So stay humble, man. Just practice, grind hard, and do your thing, right? You don't need to fucking add a bunch of stupid shit to tattooing, right? Anyways, guys, that's my story for today. Hopefully back next week with an interview, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy.